Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the International Leader site. First of all, I would like to share my sincere thanks to all of you for taking the time to join the section with us today. My name is Huy from Pathfinder Scout Vietnam, the Vice Chairperson of API Youth Engagement Subcommittee and member of WASM Volunteer Support Team. I am so happy to be here with you today. This is my big honor to have the opportunity for the first time join the JOTA JOTI as the host, and first time for my country too, after 3 years rejoining the World Scout movement. And as you all know, for the young people joining the JOTA JOTI with a fun and valuable learning opportunity. So the question is, what is the opportunity for Scout leaders? How can we benefit from the world's largest scouting jamboree? Let's join the panel discussion about how the JOTA JOTI can impact our profession as leader. And before we start, let's meet our two panelists today. The first one is one of our World Scout Committee member who has a lot of experience in organizing international activities. She was a youth advisor to World Scout Committee many years ago until now as the vice chairperson of the World Scout Committee, Ms. Sarah Rita Katan. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you for this introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you here on JOTA JOTI, our biggest world event in World Scouting. So welcome to this session. And I hope it's gonna be very useful for you guys to know how you can actually benefit from this experience as leaders as well.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. And the second panelist today, who also has a lot of experience in international activity with his role in the Scout Association United Kingdom, and now serving as the WASM consultant, Mr. Amir Shima. Welcome, Amir, and you can say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Great to hopefully speak with you and share our thoughts, and whichever time zone you're in, morning, afternoon, evening, and it's amazing to sort of communicate with you and share our thoughts with you, and thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you, Amma. And now, everyone, please give our panelists your virtual heart or reaction to welcome them to our section today. And first of all, I want to ask, how was your experience as this year JOTA JOTI so far, Sarah?
Amazing experience. I mean, it's been like a long journey of scouting since ages, but at the same time, every year we have new innovations and new events and new people that come in, and that creates an experience which is very interesting. On the World Scout Committee, or when we're meeting with you, everyone around the world in different events or in different conferences, or even on Zoom in our online events these days.
Yes. So this year we have many new contents, especially this year we have the blockchain in scouting, the very trendy content, not only for technology, but also now we have this discussion this morning about the blockchain and how can we apply it in the scouting. So this topic today is we discuss about how to benefit to the adult and support them to create a new competency for the adult leaders. So what do you think is how it changed and how can JOTA JOTI can support to the adult leader? I would like to ask Amir, can you share your perspective?
Thank you. Yes, we continually changing and improving, and that's why we're a movement. And this year is no different to others in terms of introducing new topics, sharing things, and different ways of doing things. And one of the key things that we learn is how to communicate with each other. And within that sort of sphere of communication is obviously understanding ourselves better and also be able to share with others using different methods. That we have to tailor our communications as we do that, and using different tools while we do that and sharing all that with people. So I think starting with that is the key, is being able to learn those communication skills and practice them with each other. So that's a great starting point.
Yes, JOTA JOTI not only brings the communication not only in traditional way, but also in the virtual way. We can react, we can chat, we can send a message, and also we can meet together. Especially after the COVID, the digital transformation push us to have the daily Zoom meeting, the daily virtual meeting. And this is the new way of communication is the virtual communication. Yes, thank you, Amir. And Sarah, what do you think?
Well, we all need to remember again why we're here. I mean, JOTA JOTI again is one of our biggest, largest events in the world, but at the same time, we are actually part of a movement supported by the World Organization of the Scout Movement, which includes 57 million people around the world. And we all abide by the same values, by the same principles, by the same purpose that we have in Scouting, which is, I'm sure most of you know it. And if you do, please share an emoji or something, but it's about really how to support young people in getting the best experience in Scouting. And that's super important to keep in mind when we're part of any Scouting activity, that as adult leaders, we're there to support young people. But because the movement is a movement of young people, by young people, which is supported by adults. But then if we need to support young people, we need to develop ourselves as well, our own skills. We need to be motivated. We need to be recognized. We need to feel that there's growth for us as well within Scouting. And that's why JOTA JOTI has a Leaders Corner, where you can actually look at different sessions, like the session that was mentioned before as well, in terms of, for example, blockchain or social media, or how to actually really connect with others and what the listening skills that we have. But also, with all the sessions that you can participate in the Leaders Corner and outside, you really can learn how to innovate in the way you are actually sharing this learning experience with younger people. And that's very important. Innovation is key. I mean, JOTA JOTI really got there after the pandemic, even more than it was before. And that was because during the pandemic, we needed to actually leap and see where can we go actually, what can we do eventually to make sure that we stay relevant in our societies, to make sure that what we do is of interest for young people and for ourselves as well. So how can we actually do that? How can we use this interest and make sure that we are knowledgeable in it so that we can transfer it to younger people and to our actually scouts all over the world? So it's really important that we actually, through this event, learn through I mean, I had no clue about blockchain or scoutpreneurship, which is another also kind of topic, which is super important these days, about how can we as scouts become entrepreneurs and create our own work as well around us and make sure that we carry the values and the civic engagement we have in Scouting in our professional lives. So there's a lot of sessions that you can use to learn how to animate sessions better, how to use different elements on online sessions, but also how to actually transfer them and do them as workshops in your in-person events. We're also happy to be back to in-person events. So we can use that to actually, you really mix the two modalities and have blended learning included in everything we do. And through these sessions, through this kind of connections to different people around, to the innovations and the facilitation methods and the animation methods and the topics of interest that can actually help you grow personally and transfer to other people, we can actually get the best experience for leaders in JOTA JOTI.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Totally agree with you. JOTA JOTI also bring a lot of learning opportunity for everyone, and to reflect our at least like the 3 years previous, like in 2020, we bring the design thinking content, the very new one, to everyone. Last year, we bring the STEAM Scout or STEM Scout, the very new innovative content to everyone. And this year, blockchains. And as a leader, I feel we are so updated, not only the traditional content, but also to improve and support our continuous learning and to support ourselves as professional workers. And for more competency, if there are any very concrete competency that you think JOTA JOTI can bring more to the leaders? Yes, Amir?
Yeah. Thinking about problem solving. So by us learning about all new communication methods, being involved in sort of public speaking, we're then able to help solve problems within society, within our workplace, within scouting, within our life. So by having that open mind, being able to be flexible, coming with a curious mind, I call it be a curious experiential learner. So by being that person that's open to ideas, build rapport with people, adapt our styles, change ourselves, and communication is about the message received and action taken. So it's not just about sending a message, an email, an SMS, a chat. It's what is your desired result by doing that communication. So it's important that we do look for how can we help? How can we be of service to others? What problem can we solve? And linking that, as Sarah said, to sort of innovation, technology, and the tools that we have available to us. And while we're facilitating all of that, without us knowing, we are helping with peace building. We are helping connecting ourselves to our network of friends, our amazing community worldwide. And that then helps us to develop ourselves within personally every year. And I've learned so much from the past 3 years, particularly from participating. I think last year, we were using new tools and experiencing them. So yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to be able to share, learn, and solve things.
Yes, thank you so much. And audience, if you all agree with our panelists, please react with your thumbs up, with your heart, with everything that you can show your emotion, because we cannot see you all, but we know you all here. And if you agree with our panelists that JOTA JOTI can bring a lot of very competency, please just react and put the button under reaction that we can see you on. Yeah, thank you. And you can also chat with us via the Q&A section, the Q&A tools on the Zoom, that you can ask questions to the panelists and we can answer you, or we can hear you, your opinion, your perspective, and on what JOTA JOTI can bring, and what JOTA JOTI can bring to the other readers. So we have the meditation, we have innovation and learning, we have problem solving, and to have anything that's very specific to apply more in our life, in our working life. What do you think?
Of course, there's a list that we can go through. I mean, there's so many skills what we can learn, but I have a question on the chat. So because it's very much linked to what Amir just said, in terms of if this can be useful for the wood batch training. I mean, these skills that we're discussing here are, of course, useful for your wood batch training. At the end, the wood batch training is one part of your training scheme where you really can develop as a leader. And that's where you really need to actually go through these sessions for your own good, but also, I mean, it will help you afterwards when you do the wood batch training at national level to really communicate better, to be able to innovate, to be able to have the right tools to engage with other people around. So that's for sure. All the skills are always useful for wood batch trainings and others. I mean, the important thing is that you have, as a person, an amazing experience in scouting, and those are milestones that can help you in recognizing your progress. So, and there's a lot of skills that we shared in the wood batch training framework as well by WASM, so you can find it also on the WASM services and have a look at it. So, coming back to your question, just to highlight the next point as well that we would like to really stress here in JOTA JOTI in all world events and everything that we do at world level is really, and regional level as well, is really the intercultural skills that you can develop. I mean, there's a lot that you can learn by communicating with others. And communication is a key tool that we always talk about, but it's really what makes us link. And as human beings, this is, I mean, something that we really need to do all the time, especially in scouting. Because as we say, I mean, we learn, we train, we do a lot of things in scouting, but if it's not fun, it's not scouting as well. And the best way to make it fun is to connect with other people around. And when you go and when you use those events to connect with other people, you really learn a lot about other cultures, about other people, about how they actually react to things, how they behave, what they like, what they don't like, what are their traditions, what are their customs, and also what are their faith. I mean, there's also a corner on faith and belief where you can really get to know other people, how they think, what's their religion, what their faith, what they really believe in, and how they actually do things in the world according to their own culture. And that's the richness of our movement. I mean, I can share with you a small experience. It was my first jamboree. It was in 2011 in Sweden, and I went there as a youth advisor then. I didn't get the chance to go as a participant. But then in the moment where we were doing the opening ceremony, we have a moment where we do all the promise together. And every one of us did their promise in their own language, basically. And it's the same value, it's the same content, but everyone did it in their own value. So when we were there, 45,000 people doing the promise at the same time, each one of us in their own language, that was an amazing moment for everyone, because that's who we are. I mean, whatever you are, you go to whatever in the world, whether you go to Asia or Inter-America or Europe or Africa or the Arab region or whatever you are there and you are connecting with other people because you have the same values. And I bet, and do an emoji if you could recognize a scout, even in your daily life, just by their behavior, you can. And that's what makes us what we are as a movement. So we have really a lot of tools that we can use and a lot of connections that we can use all over the world to really build this intercultural relations. And this is what makes the richness and at the same time the diversity of our movement. And that's why we can actually be very comfortable being everywhere in the world, anywhere with other people around, and we can work together well.
Yes, totally agree with you, Sarah. JOTA JOTI is opportunity also for us, yet as a leader to become a role model for our children, to express more, to understand more about friends, international friends, and to actually become the global citizen as our Scout mission and vision. And with this experience, we motivate more to do our job, do our scouting activity in daily life. And I have one question in the chat box that they are curious about your opinion in which is technology that is most useful for scouting in your experience, in your opinion. Yeah, because currently we use many technology in scouting, and especially in the past 3 years. So, in your opinion, which is the technology that is most useful for scouting? So I can ask Amit. What do you?
Yes, thank you. So I've again through scouting, through JOTA JOTI, through working with people across Europe, across projects across the world, I learned about Zoom through scouting first and work second. So in our hybrid working, in our virtual working, a communication tool, Zoom's been amazing. And that's where I learned it first. And then also by learning that, getting different ways of using it creatively. Then at work, normally we use Microsoft products, Teams, which people probably have as well, but Zoom was more useful in terms of sharing things. We then, from there, learned about things like Kahoot, which in also looking after well-being during our period when we were online only, now hybrid. That sort of brings life to what we do online as well. So the young people loved it, and I managed to take that to work as well and do sessions which people really enjoyed. The sort of mixture that I've found also depends on what is it you want to do. So don't go for the technology. What problem are you looking to solve, and what's the best thing for it, and what try to minimize, if you're doing hybrid or online, try to minimize the mixture of technologies, being aware of people's connections, the broadband connections, and the abilities as well. So you might need to first train people up in how to use it, and don't assume everybody knows how to use it as well. So on that assumption that we will sort of not use too many things in one go, you can use them, but maybe in different sessions. Learn that. So I've used Mentimeter quite a bit for generating word clouds, asking questions, doing scales. Slido also has been around in the similar sort of space. So are you asking for interaction that you can see together on the screen, everybody's results? So for those, yeah, Mentimeter and Slido. If you're looking for interactive work and you're looking to engage with people, again, you can have whiteboard functionality, so that within Zoom's available. There are other tools, but I found Mural, which are again used through Scouting, and shared that and found that amazing. You do need to think about your plan and how you want to use it, and drafting the sort of different areas, and you do need to tidy it up after a while. But it's an amazing space to collaborate and share and do things together where you can interact with people. So those are a few that I've found that are quite useful, and maybe Sarah will talk a bit more about the chat rooms and safe from harm.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, yes. So yeah, I mean, of course, we need to keep in mind always when you use those tools, how to actually do it in a safe environment and make sure that everyone feels safe. So as you know, safe from harm is one of our top priorities in the world. And we cannot let it go anymore. We cannot let young people or any adult actually get affected by abuse in Scouting. This is not okay. So we need to really act on it. And the way we need to act on it is by first acknowledging that it might happen. But then we need to know how to prevent it from happening, how to educate people to actually prevent it from happening, and how to react when a case happens. Because in the idealist world, we will always have sometimes things that might happen that might affect other people because we didn't realize that it might do that. So we need to be really creating a safe environment for everyone so that they can actually be able to develop their own potential and really achieve what they want and become self-fulfilled individuals and active citizens as per our youth program mission. So safe from harm, there's a lot of sessions on JOTA JOTI that you can use to learn about safe from harm. Again, I encourage you all to go to the WASM services. Does anyone know about the WASM services? Did you visit the services? There's a lot of information and a library of information, which is huge there. You can use it for e-learnings, resources, information about 13 topics like safe from harm, youth program, better world framework, anything SDGs, anything that you would like to actually learn more about it yourself. So we'd appreciate, again, some emojis if you know about the WASM services, and then we can share with you the link in chat so that you can also go there and see them. On the other side, there's also, I mean, those techniques that Amir is talking about. I mean, I'm a university lecturer. The way I teach my students about architecture is also through those techniques. And that's how you can also benefit yourself from taking what is in JOTA JOTI, what we do in this big INGO, which is the World Organization of the Scout Movement, and really take it and apply it in your own space. So this is also something that you can actually keep in mind and use in your own work life or personal life if you want.
Yes, totally agree. When I first joined JOTA JOTI in 2020, this is changed the way I think that we can do scouting. Yeah, because we are the very large organization, the very large movement with more 100 years old of history, and we have traditional. We have our own story, and we have our way to do scouting. But JOTA JOTI that show the way that scouting can leverage technology to make the learning opportunity for everyone more useful, more interactive, more engaging with everyone, especially the young generation, when they are very familiar with technology, and we can use the tools, the technology on online learning, on online interaction games. I also learn to use the gather town to create a game, the scavenger hunt with my children. That's really interactive, especially when in the COVID-19, everyone stay at home and we still can do scouting. And yes, like Sarah said, we also have many tools and many mindset, have a good mindset, especially to carry about the safe from harm for everyone, for our children, to take care of them, to stay away with very dangerous things, and to make our environment really safe for our children. So yes, JOTA JOTI is for everyone, and we can learn not only from the expert, but also from everyone on the way they do, the way they learn, and the way everyone goes scouting every day. Yes, and one more question from the audience. So could you share some competency that's personally influenced in your professional life when you attend JOTA JOTI sections and
Yeah,
from you?
I'm in the project program management world. So through scouting and JOTA JOTI, learned about agile methodology and how to sort of use that, practice that. Also in the work that we do to prepare for sessions, linked to the agile methodology, design thinking. Sort of how do you actually look for solving problems? So if you think about something that you want to resolve, you can use that technology. And again, it was I learned that through JOTA JOTI. So that's the design thinking tool, how to communicate with people, linking that with Mural to have a space to share, and then excuse me, the use of agile to deliver projects and to do things together. So that's been an amazing sort of learning for me, and then being able to apply that to work. I've got years of sort of project program management experience, but it's bringing through scouting experiences into the workplace. And yeah, so like then I was able to sort of share with my colleagues how to use it first, learn by doing. So we actually used it ourselves in scouting, and then learn by doing at work as well. So yeah, so the project management, agile, and design thinking.
Yes, this, I think, yes, it's very, very good content, and we can apply it to in our daily activities also. Yes, but very in a specific and an easy way to catch, to understand. Yes, Sarah, how about you?
Yes, also, I mean, I'm an architect, and I work in architecture, obviously. But the scouting gave me, I mean, for me, scouting gives me a cause, a mission that I want to apply. And it's not only about doing what you need to do as a job, but really to make sure that your job is actually having a social impact on society. And I founded an NGO that does this, basically between architecture and how to actually engage architects in making sure that they are civically engaged in their society and do public projects. And the best tools that I use in scouting in this are really how to manage the team, how to motivate them, how to recognize their work, how to make sure that they feel that they're motivated, they're well recruited first to be able to do the job, and that we can retain them through actually the motivation that we give them and everything that we actually create as an environment that allows them to develop and to actually give more for this kind of work. And that's super important in scouting as well, because we have a team, Namir and myself are part of it as well, that works actually on recruiting and retaining adult volunteers. And that's really something that we need to work more on in scouting, to make sure that we actually get the best people for the job, but also we know how to actually keep them all the time encouraged, motivated, and happy to actually serve more, especially in volunteering organizations. So for me, that kind of teamwork, that kind of environment of development, that kind of communication amongst the people, and the way we lead by example, but also we let other people take roles and initiatives, and we don't overshadow everyone in a team. This is what we learn in scouting. This is what we learn when we're young patrol leaders. And then we grow and we do it more and more, and we keep on doing it even more when we're adults, because we need to encourage other people, younger people, to take the lead. And sometimes we need to step back so that they can develop themselves. And that's how we do it in Scouting. And that's how it should be also in the world. It shouldn't be one person only doing one thing, but rather a team, depending on where they fit more and where they feel they can contribute better. Then they can actually take the lead every time, depending on the task.
Yes, great. One more question from the audience sent me privately is, what activities or content at this year that you like most so far?
Sorry.
Can you hear me well?
Sorry, if just okay. I've been in the chat on JOTA JOTI this year, and I was looking at the conversations going on in there, from people being able to sort of share where they're from, the color of the flags, languages, foods, but it was great to see the sort of engagement across the different parts of the world, and people asking and sharing different questions. So one of those keys is back to that sort of communication skills, being able to understand each other. And we can go anywhere in the world and find a fellow Scout person. And it's that wide family that we've got that we sort of know we're part of. And we've sort of organized projects and events where we might not have met anyone. We organized a training camp once, and we'd never physically met everybody. We had done, that was in the day, like we had just phone calls. We didn't have the full Zoom experience and the online everything. And we prepared everything in advance, came together physically, and then ran the training course. Those kind of things, it's amazing that we were able to do by just sort of knowing and trusting each other, that we can help each other do great things and solve things. Linking that to sort of the work situation, I've taken like the Sustainable Development Goals learned that through Scouting. We've applied it, and then we had a little competition at work about how can we be more sustainable, and that's in the context of IT. And with a table of, we had about 20 tables, we were table 11. We provided all our inputs and made a great presentation for that. We won the sustainability award of the ideas that we came up with. But that is Scouting. That's where we sort of learned that from, being able to apply it and look to help resolve global issues together. So we are making our contribution through Scouting, through helping young people be their best, give them those opportunities, give them the opportunities to grow, to learn in a supportive environment, and then ourselves as well. The other sort of areas that we can help is on the environment and sustainability, and sort of design it into what we do. So that it's not something that we sort of think about at the end. It's right up front. Think about what is it that we want to be able to do and design and work in. So yeah, no, it's amazing to learn all these skills and share with people. Thank you.
Yes, for the communication, some of my friends shared that the JOTA JOTI build their confidence, especially in international communication with others, because at first they scared that they are not good at English, and I think that international activity should very good at English. It's for everyone already very good at language, but in JOTA JOTI they saw many people communicate in their way to express their idea, express their thoughts, and understand themselves. Yes, so it creates confidence to them, and then they go back to the local community. They go back to their to the children. They push everyone, and let's join JOTA JOTI, let's meet everyone. And I cannot agree more with the communication is very key things, and not only for in the daily life, but also for interaction, international interaction with others from JOTA JOTI. that can give the leaders. Yes, and from Sarah, what do you think and what do you like most this year, JOTA JOTI content?
Well, I mean, one more thing on communication.
Yeah.
There's sessions on social media use as well. And I think we are learning more and more how to communicate internally, but we also should explain to others what we do in scouting. And I would encourage all of you to go back and to explain tomorrow to your colleagues at work or in university, what did you do this weekend? What was JOTA JOTI for you? Because that will encourage you really to learn how to actually pitch scouting for the outside world. And that's really important as a tool as well. So really to explain to others what we do so that we can get recognized as the biggest youth-led non-formal education movement. And that's what we are. We do education for young people through a non-formal educational or learning process. And that's really something that can help everyone grow throughout the ages to be able to be really living the values of scouting everywhere in their life, which are universal values that we all want an ideal world to be part of. So at the end, it's really important that we learn how to communicate externally as much as internally. And one of the ways that one of the sessions that can also help you, and you can find more about it on the WASM services that we shared also in chat, is how to mobilize scouting towards the SDGs. If you're familiar or not with the SDGs, let us know. But the SDGs are the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN that are really trying to get to the Agenda 2030, where we can tackle a lot of points that are affecting the whole world, whether it's poverty, quality education, gender, sustainable cities, whatever. There's 17 SDG goals that we can actually achieve. What we do in scouting is already part of this. So it's just about really making sure that every single effort that you do in some community service in scouting at the local level is actually put and labeled as part of contributing to the work that the whole world is doing actually to eradicate poverty or to create more gender equality or to actually have a better education that is given to everyone around us, or to have sustainable spaces and take care of our environment. That way, every single young scout will feel like their contribution is part of 57 million's contribution towards the same goal. And that's what we are. Again, we are really having local actions, but we do actually have a global impact. And that's what scouting is about. And you should keep all the time that in mind.
Yes. And we just have a few minutes left before we end the session. So to recap our today content, so can you both share some keywords or a few words or few competencies that everyone can bring back and can apply on their own development after when they join JOTA JOTI?
Yes, thank you. We should think about being a curious, experiential learner. So start with that. Believe that it's possible and anything is possible. You're amazing, we're amazing, and we do amazing things. Remember that. We do have things to solve. So think about what problem are you seeking to solve? Then your tools, communication tools. Think about building rapport with people. First, engaging and understanding. Seek to understand first. Understand yourself, then understand others, then seek to communicate. With that in mind, communication is the message received and action taken. You're able to do communications online, face-to-face, virtually, in writing, public speaking, presentation skills. You take all that together and you can use those sort of problem solving approaches in a structured methodology like project management or agile and design thinking. So then you're able to help locally, nationally and internationally to solve global issues like we've spoken about the Sustainable Development Goals, the environment, looking at resolving issues locally. You might have some conflicts and understanding each other in terms of that globalization and networking with people. So yes, please share, please understand, and please shout, like social media, let people know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Amir. And Sarah, you can share.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone to think again why we're doing this. We're here to support young people in their own development as active citizens, but also as individuals that can be self-fulfilled. So go back, ask the boys and the girls, and ask everyone around you, what did you enjoy in JOTA JOTI? What do you need? What's your interest? And then try to use everything that you've learned through this event and others to be able to channel it and to transfer it and to make sure that what you do is actually good for them and can benefit them. The other thing is try to see for yourself what can motivate you to keep continuing in your mission, because you're doing an amazing job, as Amir said. You're giving so much of your time and your commitment and your experience for young people to actually become who we imagine the world could be with scouting. So take this as an experience as well to see what you still need to develop yourself as a person and as a leader, as a self-evaluation, and try to see where do you want to go, and then fill the gap with whatever sessions are given here, but also on other platforms, WASM, region, national, whatever. I mean, ask other NSOs as well, how they actually deal with different challenges that you're going through, whether personally or in your national organization, and see how you can communicate better together on really making sure that you can actually use the experiences of others and learn from their own kind of challenges instead of creating everything from scratch. So develop yourself, develop your scout group, national team, whatever you are in, and try to see how both can actually move forward together through JOTA JOTI, but also through all the links and the connections and the practices that you gathered through this event. This is just a snapshot of what we do. It's not everything. And you can take it back. You don't need to do it in the same manner that we did it here. We're doing it online because we want to collect 2 million people all over the world, but you can do it in person. We're back to in-person scouting in most areas, or it's a mixed method. So it's a hybrid method between online and in person. So use the techniques that you feel are better. You don't need to abide by the techniques here, but use this as an inspiration to how to think how to actually use innovatively the techniques that you learn. So thank you for all your contributions for World Scouting and scouting at all levels.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Sarah and Amir, for your very interesting sharing. And before we leave, yes, today we have the challenge code, and please remind everyone that we have a challenge code for. This is the gift for you that you attend the section with us. Yes, and many audience send me the direct message on the chat box that say thank you to the amazing panelists, and they are very happy with the shared information today. And for myself, for my keywords is confidence and also to become a role model. I feel more confident when I join JOTA JOTI. I can learn from everyone, and I can become a role model for my children, for my local units. And we also have the role model, the section becoming the ultimate role model in tomorrow in the international leader side. So we would like to invite all of you. Everyone can join us at 6 p.m. UTC time with another section to discuss about the role of the leaders can join and can support and can learn from JOTA JOTI. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, everyone. See you on and enjoy JOTA JOTI. Goodbye.